Many extraordinary personalities throughout history have left their mark on humanity's memories, from shrewd politicians like Julius Caesar to bright scientists like Albert Einstein. But occasionally, someone extraordinary emerges whose impact and influence endure long after their name is finally spoken. One such individual happened to be Edward Teller, the father of the hydrogen bomb. His interest in bombs bordered on obsession. Teller believed that the hydrogen bomb, or superweapon, was critical to protecting the United States from the Soviet Union. Edward Teller, a Hungarian-American theoretical physicist and chemical engineer, has been called the father of the hydrogen bomb and is credited with developing the Teller-Ulam design. Teller was born in Austria-Hungary in 1908 and immigrated to the United States in the 1930s as one of the numerous so-called Martians, a group of notable Hungarian scientists emigres. He produced several advances in nuclear and molecular physics, spectroscopy, and surface physics. His extension of Enrico Fermi's beta decay theory in the form of Gamow-Teller transitions was a significant step forward in its application, whereas the Jahn-Teller effect and Brunauer-Emmett-Teller theory have retained their original formulation and are still widely used in physics and chemistry. Teller contributed to Thomas Fermi theory, the forerunner to density functional theory, which is now a basic technique in the quantum mechanical study of complicated molecules. Teller co-authored a paper in 1953 with Nicholas Metropolis, Ariana Rosenbluth, Marshall Rosenbluth, and Augusta Teller that serves as a typical starting point for the applications of the Monte Carlo method to statistical mechanics and the Markov chain Monte Carlo literature in Bayesian statistics. Teller was an early member of the Manhattan Project, which created the first nuclear weapon. He made a significant drive to produce the first fusion-based weaponry, although fusion bombs did not exist until after World War II. He co-founded the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory and served as either its director or associate director. Teller was isolated by the scientific world following his controversial, unfavorable testimony in his former Los Alamos laboratory boss, J. Robert Oppenheimer's security clearance hearing. Teller continued to get backing from the United States government and military research establishment, particularly for his advocacy for nuclear energy development, a robust nuclear arsenal, and an aggressive nuclear testing program. In his later years, he campaigned for controversial technological solutions to military and civilian problems, such as Project Chariot, which involved excavating an artificial harbor in Alaska with a thermonuclear explosive, and Ronald Reagan's Strategic Defense Initiative. Teller received both the Enrico Fermi and the Albert Einstein Awards. He died at Stanford, California on September 9, 2003, at the age of 95. The atomic bomb. Edward Teller drove Leo Szilard and Eugene Wigner to meet with Albert Einstein, who together wrote a letter to President Roosevelt asking him to pursue atomic weapons research before the Nazis did. Teller worked on the Manhattan Project at the Los Alamos National Laboratory and eventually became its associate director. This resulted in the invention of the atomic bomb in 1945. The hydrogen bomb. Teller developed the concept of a thermonuclear weapon in 1951, while still at Los Alamos. Teller was more determined than ever to advance its development after the Soviet Union detonated an atomic weapon in 1949. This was a major reason why he was motivated to oversee the successful development and testing of the first hydrogen bomb. In 1952, Ernest Lawrence and Teller created the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, where he was the associate director from 1954 to 1958 and 1960 to 1965. He served as its director from 1958 until 1960. Teller spent the next 50 years conducting research at the Livermore National Laboratory, where he conceived and built thermonuclear weapons small and light enough to be carried by submarine-launched ballistic missiles. Awards. Teller published over a dozen books on topics ranging from energy policy to defense, and he received 23 honorary degrees. He won multiple awards for his contributions to physics and public life. 2 months before his death in 2003, President George W. Bush presented Edward Teller with the Presidential Medal of Freedom at a special ceremony held at the White House. What we should have learned is that the world is small, that peace is important, and that cooperation in science could contribute to peace. Nuclear weapons in a peaceful world will have a limited importance, Edward Teller stated in a CNN interview. Guys, that is the end of this video. What are your thoughts about the video? Write them in the comments section below. Let's meet again with another interesting video.